Hi, welcome to another segment of Behind the Scenes with the GWEN Luminary Awards for 2020. We are interviewing the award honorees before the show, and I am so excited to have today Dr. Elisha Attai, who is the founder of African Women Leadership Organization. Now, I met him only on the phone and through Zoom all these months. I met him when I was in Niger, and it was instant kinship. I feel like he's a dear brother of mine. I'm so in admiration of the work he does. Here is a man who has stood up for women's rights and human rights and created African Women Leadership Organizations. So welcome, Dr. Attai. All the way from Lagos.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much, Tess.
I'm so excited to finally have this time with you. We've been planning and dreaming and scheming behind the scenes for many months now. We're working with water bearers with Erin, Toppenberg, and Jane Brinton, and you had gone gracefully down to your village in Niger Delta region. So we're going to be doing a water project that they'll be able to hear about on the award ceremony that's going to be airing a little bit later this year. But I want to kind of back up into a couple of things because I just found out, because I just realized that your job of being the founder of African Women Leadership Organization, I'm just going to call it AWLO from now on because that's what we favorably call it, and I'm a proud member of AWLO. You also hold a master's degree in public relations and music technology and public administration and music management and brand and business development. I didn't know all of this about you, and now it makes sense because your programs that you put on and the conferences that you put on are so magical and vast, and you do a lot of them. So I want to talk a little bit about that side of you. So how did you begin that?
Yeah, first of all, let me appreciate you. Thank you for believing our vision. Thank you for being part of this great movement, And
the LA chapter too.
I might be the founder of African Women in Leadership Organization, but you can see that the main drivers are all women. And what I bring to the table is because I have a media background. I run a company called Studio 115 Integrated Services, which is a media public relations company. So I use that expertise to push the women agenda. I use that to make AWLO what it is today. Like you say, a lot of people see our programs and see how classic it is, see how we try to project and give women a voice, which is what AWLO is all about. And so that side of me, I bring into making sure AWLO is well positioned globally, and the projection is very solid too, because it's what I do for a living. And this is how even I got to start AWLO, because I work with a lot of women as a PR consultant, and I've seen the very bright side of women, African women. And I saw the gap that made me to say, you know what, these women can do more than what they're doing if they can actually come together. I remember when we started AWLO 2009, there were a lot of organizations for women, but they didn't have anyone that pulled the resources. Like you say, you have women in business, women in agriculture, women in politics and all that, but there was no umbrella. They didn't have any umbrella organization that bring these resources together, bring this potential of women together. That is why I started AWLO, to see how we can harness the potential that God has given to women about 12 years ago. And I'm so happy today that I sit down and I smile, seeing women breaking glass ceilings everywhere, based on the projection, based on the work that we've done in the organization, because we believe definitely for the world to have peace, for things to go on properly, you must have a balanced society. You cannot have a balanced society if women are not on the table. And secondly, women must be prepared for leadership. You can't just say because you're a woman, then you just sit down, the leadership position will come to you. No, you must be prepared. So what do you do to prepare yourself for leadership? That's what AWLO is doing. And our job is to project our women, is to project the potential that God has given to great women leaders like you all over the world. And we're very happy that every day we are expanding. AWLO is touching lives. The Youth Council is doing very well, because for you to be a leader, you must have a program or projects to bring up other leaders. That's why we are so very serious with our Youth Council project to be raising the next generation leaders. So that is Elisha.
Yeah, I love that. I saw that your motto is "I live so I can give," and that makes so much sense when I saw that on your website. That makes so much sense.
Yes.
That's you. You live so you can give. I feel the same way. I live so I can give. Was there a female or a role model, a mother, a grandmother, or something when you were young that started that? I want to kind of dig into your childhood a little bit. What was that like growing up, and what were the women like around you?
You know, I've always been someone who very passionate about women. I love women, and I also have a mother who loved me so much. And I grew up in a family that that understand what value system is, you know, and that kind of, you know, prepared me to be who I am today. I remember in school, I didn't know I would do this. But you know that in school, yeah, you see guys bullying girls, you know, maybe a boyfriend, you know, dealing with that. It's just showing that macho nature of him that he's a man, you know, I'm the man, you know, and the molest young girls and all that. I used to fight for them. I used to fight, even if I don't know you. Maybe I'm passing through, I see you molest a woman, I will fight you know. So I grew up respecting a woman. And I grew up in a family that respects everyone, you know.
I so wish that every man would be just like you, because, you know, you are an important role model to not only us women, giving us a platform to be able to do our work, but also the African women who much deserve a platform like you're offering them. So I want to dive into one of the programs that we're raising funds for in our broadcast, which is Say No to Rape campaign. I know it's a grassroots program right now, but I want to talk a little bit about that, because what I love about the Water Bears partnership of bringing the clean water to the village in Lagos and Niger Delta, which we'll talk about, but also the Say No to Rape and how we can take it into a grassroots position where it is now and expand it throughout Africa. Not only Nigeria, but throughout Africa, because it's a very important program. So talk to us about that, because I want the audience to know, you know, just because we're having this fundraiser on this day, these are going to be continued fundraising efforts, because it's not just a one shot and go. We have a lot of work to do. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, the Say No to Rape and any form of abuses is what we are doing in AWLO. Good enough, we have chapters in many countries in Africa. So we're using our chapter to reach out to the grassroots, because we might make all the noise in the township, in the city, but if we don't take it to the grassroots, we are missing it. So what we've done now is to make sure that we scatter our chapters in all corners. Like in Nigeria, you know that we have chapters all over the country. And we also have sub-chapters. Those are the sub-chapters that go straight to the grassroots. Firstly is advocacy, trying to let them understand that this is not right. There's an experience we have in one of our chapters where the coordinator gathered some men in the village. I was shocked. Out of ignorance, these men said, it's their rights. The women have no right to say no, because they grew up thinking it's their right, that if they want to have sex with you, you must give it to them without arguing, because you are a woman, they are the men. But it takes a lot of communication, advocacy projects, programs to talk to these people in the rural area to understand that no, you have no rights over any woman, over any girl if she says no. But we realize that they didn't even know that what they are doing is wrong because the message did not get to them. So what we need to do is to make sure that we have programs that reach out to the grassroots. We expand our network. We expand our booklets that they can read in different languages. If you go to Kenya, you go to Liberia, Sierra Leone, even in Sierra Leone, we gathered some ex-soldiers just because the rape cases was going so high. But what we experienced from there was shocking. But they also felt that, come on, there is their right. A woman have no right to say no if they want a woman. It took a lot of convincing. It took a lot of, advocacy, communication for them to understand that that actually is wrong. Now, we've now prepared the men to carry the advocacy project. We try to bring them into the he for she community for them to see that, because it's easy when you allow in Africa, in our culture, if you don't allow women to be the one every time shouting, carrying placards, say no to rape, and all that, the men will not take it serious. It's until when the men start talking about it, start carrying the placard, that it is not right to rape a woman. If a woman says no, it's no. You got no right to touch a woman who have said no. Until men start talking about it before it makes sense. That's why we are bringing a lot of men into the movement. And you can see that we have over 200 men who have signed up to our AWLO He for She movement. They are the voice. Those are the ones we are using to make sure that any man that rapes a woman will know that he's not a man. And that has worked so much. It has reduced. From the time we start using our male voice to speak against it, it has reduced a lot. What we need to do is to see how we can do more, bring in more men, talk to more men to understand that it is wrong to touch a woman who has said no. It is wrong to rape a woman. Some of them in the villages, in the rural area, we discover that they don't know how to also talk to a woman. They don't know how to do it. So we are using the local dialect, using the women in the village to talk to them. Come, you need to persuade a woman. You need to talk to a woman. You need to show some love. And then if the woman accepts to befriend you and all that, then it's your own. But not that you just see a woman and you just force her. Because that's what has been happening in the rural areas. And we have record to show that. So these are the things that we're doing. So we need to increase the volume of the advocacy. We need to increase the volume of our penetration to this rural area. In the township, you can see, like, I'm in Lagos. You hardly hear about rape cases here in Lagos because of the enlightenment program that's going on the radio, TV, and all that. But back home? They don't have access to these things. So you need to put up a team to go in there and do some door-to-door community service, school advocacy, church advocacy on war against rape. So these are the things that we're trying to do. That's why we're establishing a lot of chapters in all the local areas to work on this.
Well, I can't wait to work with you further on this and to raise more money and awareness around it, because we need to get the publications and the pamphlets printed, and then the advocacy of empowering women and men in their villages, because it is like a job opportunity. It creates sustainable revenue streams for them. I'm curious, how are the men reacting to this? Because you're taking centuries of culture and embedded indoctrination from their families and their culture. And how are they reacting to this? Are they favorable to it, or are you meeting resistance?
When we started AWLO, a lot of men did not understand what I was doing. They would say, what are you talking about? What are you doing with women? Why are you doing this? We know you to be a media guru, a media consultant, a public relations consultant. What are you doing with women? They did not understand. When I start talking about gender parity, even the United Nations didn't start it. About 12 years ago, when we started doing campaign on gender parity, war against abuses and all that, giving women a chance. So guys did not understand what I was doing, but I can confidently say it's improving. Even those that didn't believe in what we were doing. They are the ones sponsoring most of the project we are doing today because they now understand. I think this guy is making sense. They see improvement on our women. They see improvement on our women coming out to lead. They see improvement even in their daughters, in their wives. They see improvement based on the projects, based on the workshop, based on the seminars that AWLO is doing. So now we have more men, more African men signing up to our He for She movement. He for She movement, as you know, is a UN initiative, but we took it up and make it work. It's not just having He for She in paper, but making it work. That's what we do in AWLO, try to make sure that we engage a lot of men who before now, they didn't believe in what we're doing, they didn't understand it. But now, because they're now seeing faces, they're seeing celebrities, they're seeing women, role models, they're seeing them talk against gender-based violence, talk against rape. Now the message is going down to every man. So we're having more men who that appreciate what we're doing. We're having more men who are coming out. Before, a lot of them they can say it behind, but they can't come out boldly, maybe on TV or in the public place to talk about it. But today we have so many of them. They are very free to come out and talk about it. And because
that's such a change in society, because you know, you and I have been working on this path separately, and now we'll get to unite, which I'm really excited about. But when I first started GWEN in 2012, and I was doing advocacy work before that with World Trust Foundation, which is another organization that I founded, I was talking to a lot of the people in different countries where women were being empowered, the microloans with Dr. Eunice, you know, the microloans for businesses. And there was a turning point in our society, I believe is happening now, because back then the women were being empowered and the men would feel even more fearful, and there would be an uprise in domestic violence because they didn't want to have their power usurped. So it feels like there's a really big turning point that's happening with the consciousness of men. And thank you for leading the way in that way, and the he for she movement as well. I always say, always say, we do GWEN with the men, because we have to do it together. So it's so exciting to see that. Yes. And you mentioned also about the empowerment of women. And I know you and I've talked about this, and we're very passionate about the empowerment for girls and boys, and the education disparity, and that clean water is it's a human right. And we need to provide clean water for everybody in the world, because then it provides not only healthy living, but it also provides the way for girls, because often they are the ones going to the wells 8 miles, 10 miles, which is maybe a 2-hour walk or something, to get water in dangerous territories to bring clean water back, or not even clean water at that point, just water back to their village. And now with clean water solutions, like with water bears and what we're doing with you, we're able to provide an opportunity for girls to go to school, which is so important. So can you talk about your visit recently to the village, and the village that we're going to be doing our pilot program with the rain containment and the water filters and all that? How was their reaction?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me appreciate you and the team for making it possible. At least it's a dream that is coming true. I took a trip down to the village in Ogu Itumanusa in Akwa Ibom State, Niger Delta. And you saw the pictures and the videos. I felt bad about it, where these young girls go to fetch water from the stream, and the danger involved. We are talking about rape cases here, and you allow your girl to walk a distance to go and fetch water that is not even clean. Sometimes the young boys or the men take advantage of these girls, because they have to pass through a bush path to go and fetch this water. And I felt bad even within myself, because it's a village I've not been to for over 40. I've not been there for a long time. So going to do some, assessment, personal assessment on what they are going through when it comes to water and, clean water. I felt bad, but I don't know how they survive it. That's when I also, appreciate God, because you need to see the water, you need to see the color of the water when they are drinking it.
And
When
that's
they are
how,
dying.
and that's
They
how
are
a lot
dying.
of malaria and intestinal diseases happen. I saw it
Yes.
firsthand when we brought these same filters down to a village in Ghana, and they had water source right there. It was a big lake, and so they just went and got the buckets. They weren't a long walk, thank God. They brought it back to their village, and we set it up in these big buckets. And it's a very easy step-by-step process that I can't wait. I want to be there when we bring the clean water filters there, because the rain containment project is going to take a little longer to build. But to see that brown water come through this filter, which is only yay high, and it's $50. And the fact that you can take this filter and see pure fresh water come out of it, and they are in awe. They've never seen water so clear. And to see their faces when they drink this first sip of fresh water is life-changing.
I can't wait for that day.
I want to be there with you.
It's gonna be so emotional, that for the first time they will see good water to drink. And I can't just wait, because it's sad, because it's not just about that particular village. I can imagine how many villages in the Niger Delta region are facing that problem, are passing through that very bad, condition. I can't believe it.
This will be the first pilot, and then we're going to take it and expand it. I know Water Bears has been working with this project all over Africa, and they've gone to South America and Asia. So we want to help expand that team, because this is a way to be able to really serve human rights. I mean, everyone should have clean water. I'm a very big stickler on phrasing. So when people say, I'm dying of thirst, I have to stop them and I say, no, you are not. You're thirsty, because there are people that are literally dying of thirst, and clean water is a human right and a necessity. So I'm so happy to watch the progress. So the fundraising from our awards ceremony and fundraising concert is going to be really important, to be able to see that minimal amount of money can help save lives. $50 a filter can give clean water for up to 10 years. Yes. 10 years. If they service it right. So we have a very good on-the-ground training program, and that will allow for women to get jobs within their community as well. So that's a whole other next chapter. We're going to have I think we're going to have a show just with you. The progress report.
That would be good. That would be good.
I think that's going to be the name. I think we're birthing this, called the progress report. GWEN Talks, the progress report. And we check back into these programs to make sure that people know that their money is going to good things that are happening in the world. Because we've been doing a lot of progress, and you've been doing a lot of progress. We need to document it for people to know that our hearts are in the right place, and we're really wanting to do great things in the world. So speaking of that, what do you see the next steps in the future of AWLO? I'm so excited to be a part of it. I'm so proud every time I say I'm a member. So thank you again for inviting me to be part of AWLO.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we welcome you so much. You are a phenomenal woman. And this is what we want from all our members. We're touching lives from their different corners, from their little corner, from their big space. And you are doing that. We're just changing the narrative. We want to make sure that we change it to the fullest. In the next 10 years, I want to see more AWLO members, more women sitting on the table of leadership, changing the narrative of how things are done. Look at what is going on today. Look at the COVID-19 pandemic that we had. Look at the countries that have women in affairs of leadership. You see the way they manage it. That's how God has wired women. And it's somehow appalling, somehow like an error from some of our leaders, some of our country leaders. If God can allow people like us to come through a woman for 9 months, that means there's something special about a woman. So if God can trust a woman to do this, why can't we trust? Why can't some men, some leaders trust a woman to be on the table of leadership? Maybe that's what will change the world. That's what will bring the everlasting peace that we're looking for in this world. Look at the crisis everywhere. And look at the areas that are being handled by women. See the difference. So what we want to do, we want to make sure that we prepare, because like I said earlier, we don't play women's card in AWLO. We believe that a woman must prepare, just like the men are prepared. You must be prepared to be in leadership position. You want to prepare yourself to be able to lead. So we want to see more leaders in all fields of life, all fields, in every area, be it in politics, in business, entrepreneurs, in oil and gas, in banking, financial industries, and all that. We want to see women take their rightful position. And secondly, we want to prepare the right men. That's why we have this program, Boys to Men. We want to prepare this young generation boys to understand how to relate with a woman. Because the issues we have today, like the abuses you are seeing, the violence you are seeing at home, is the background where they're coming from. So how do we arrest that? We need also have to prepare the young boys. That's why I asked the E for She movement members that we have to have programs to go into high school, colleges, to talk to mentor the next generation of male children, the boys. We must get boys and groom them to become men. A proper man will respect a woman. A proper man will know how to live with a woman. So if as AWLO, we are working a lot with our girl child, we're doing so much on it, but we need to balance it. And this few years coming, that's what we want to do. That's why we have the E for She movement. Their job must be to prepare boys to becoming men, while the AWLO members, the women, will mentor the next generation and prepare them to be effective leaders. And that is the area we're going. And that's what AWLO is doing. And we're working hard with all the women like you. You are doing it from Los Angeles, and we have them all over, members all over, preparing and making sure that we move this movement to the next level.
It's so interesting because when the women empowerment movement began, I believe that there was a sway, because it's a pendulum. You have one thing into control and you have to push it all the way to the other end of the pendulum. And there was a lot of boys that were left out because the girl education and the girl child and everything that was girl, 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 a lot of the boys got left out. So right now it's about creating balance within it. I know that breaking the cycles of abuse is dealing with the children, because they have to heal the generational implications of the abuse that have come down and trickled down through the generations, even in America. I mean, domestic violence is 1 in 3 of women around the world have been, part of a domestic violence relationship. I did hear something really beautiful that's happening in the Maasai region in Kenya, where the female genital mutilation, which has been a long time ritual, that happens to the young girls. And it doesn't happen by the men to the young girls, it's the grandmothers. So a lot of the women have been standing up and saying, we can't do this anymore, this is not right. And I heard that there is a young group of boys in the Maasai tribe that are actually telling the girls where to run away to, which is, it gives me chills just even thinking about it, that they're the ones telling them to go down to this outside of the village, and there's homes that are being built, and we're working with Friends of Africa to see how we can help support this effort, because they're homes for these runaway girls that are running away from the tradition of female genital mutilation, and these boys are telling them where to go. So there is an uprise of young boys that are growing up, just like you just said, that are going to be fabulous men and leaders and the kings and queens of our souls that we're here to serve, and to be in balance and to be, joined together is so important. And thank you so much for all the work you do. I'm so blessed to know you, to work with you, to dream with you, and to see where we're going. And now that we've created in this little episode, the progress report, which will be our continued series to be able to show our our members and the people of the world, that they can join us as well. So thank you, Dr. Attai.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you,
I
Tess.
look forward
Thank you,
to
Tess.
seeing the award that you're going to be receiving in our Luminary Awards broadcast. We don't know quite yet what the date is because we had a date pinned into the calendar, and out of respect with what's happening, and currently it seems to be subsiding, but the SARS situation in Nigeria, we want to just
it's getting
down.
okay now.
Yes, it's good. Yeah, so we're now on the process of being able to redate the broadcast on the award ceremony. So we'll keep you posted on that. We just wanted to take a big pause and pray a lot for everything that was going on there. So I'm so thankful that everyone that I know at least stayed safe, and those that were injured and damaged in this process, I pray for them as well. So thank you, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us for the pre-show interviews for the GWEN Luminary Awards ceremony. And we'll stay tuned in social media to let you know when we're going to be broadcasting the awards ceremony. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Thank you, man. Thank you.